With the YouTube adpocalypse still looming over many channels, if you want to support this one, check out my Teespring store for the latest merch. John Lasseter has had a hell of a run at Disney, right? He's had a hell of a run. Being the guy who helped form Pixar, ran Pixar, brought it to prominence, took over Disney Animation, reinvigorated Disney Animation. To people in the animated world, John Lasseter is the closest thing to God one could find. A living God, let's say that. You know, maybe a deity. Because, you know, a deity is not necessarily a god that's untouchable, but in this case, there was some touching, and apparently it happened on Lasseter's part. Now, I don't quite know to the extent of what what he was being accused of having done. Ultimately, to me, it felt like it was just some unwanted hugging, but it came out at a time when Hollywood, and that's still happening now, wants to completely excommunicate everybody who may have some form of indiscretion on their ledger. If they got some red in their ledger, they want them out, and that's just where we find ourselves during the whole Me Too movement, and that's why we're seeing now that Lasseter is exiting Disney and Pixar by the end of the year. And this was pretty much called, I think, a while ago. Like when he stepped down to take us about 6 months off, you figured he might come back, but at the same time, it's just once the damage is done, it's done. Now, it says here that John Lasseter, the Chief Creative Officer of Pixar Animation Studios, Walt Disney Animation Studios, and Disney Toon Studios, is set to assume a consulting role at Walt Disney Company until the very end of 2018, in which he will leave the company. So basically, they're peacefully sunsetting him by giving him... This is what they did to... what was the guy who created the PlayStation, right? Itagaki, right? They basically gave him a corner office with a window view and just kept him there till the end of his contract. They basically just, like, you know, kind of washed him out, and this is basically what's happening with Lasseter. Now, Lasseter, who's 61, took a leave of absence from Disney and Pixar back in November, citing some personal missteps that have been reported due to a history of alleged harassment and misbehavior. Now that his 6-month sabbatical has ended, the decision regarding his involvement in the company has been finalized. And I think that was just, like I said, that was going to happen regardless. Now, Disney says this: following his sabbatical, John Lasseter will assume a consulting role until December 31st, 2018. At the time, he will be leaving the company. John has had a remarkable tenure at Pixar and Disney Animation, reinventing the animation business, taking breathtaking risks, and telling original, high-quality stories that will last forever, says Robert Iger, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer at the Walt Disney Company. We are profoundly grateful for his contributions, which included a masterful and remarkable turnaround of Walt Disney Animation Studios. One of John's greatest achievements is assembling a team of great storytellers and innovators with the vision and talent to set the standard in animation for generations to come. Which is so true. He's made them billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. And this is how they're effectively treating him. Which means either these allegations are real, they're truthful, or they're not, you know, or they can't bring it back after it's been said and done. No one has come back yet. That's the thing. No one who's been accused of anything yet has ultimately come back. The only person who kind of was able to skate by was TJ Miller, but then he had to go and do that stupid bomb threat thing. So that kind of helped kill his career. But no one has really made their way back yet, because if they even remotely think about it, they're going to end up just getting accosted by the media, by people in the media that are trying to do that. It's ridiculous stuff here. Now, Lasseter himself issues a statement alongside this saying, "In the last 6 months, I've provided an opportunity to reflect on my life, career, and personal priorities. While I remain dedicated to the art of animation and inspired by the creative talent at Pixar and Disney, I have decided the end of this year is the right time to begin focusing on new creative challenges. I'm extremely proud of what two of the most important and prolific animation studios have achieved under my leadership, and I'm grateful for all the opportunities to follow my creative passion at Disney." And Disney has not named an official replacement for Lasseter at this time, although the current people in the running are Pete Docter and or Jennifer Lee. Now, Pete Docter, who did Up and a bunch of other movies at Pixar, is the right person for the call. Jennifer Lee co-wrote Frozen, or she wrote Frozen and a couple other movies, and no, I don't think she is remotely qualified for the position, and she would lead Disney Animation down a path I don't want to see. Imagine Brave all the time. Nobody wants that. Imagine Frozen all the time. Nobody wants that. Because here's the thing. Here's the problem with someone like Jennifer Lee. She's a person who's worked, you know, she wrote Frozen. It grossed a lot of money. Disney wants more of that. Obviously, they're doing Frozen 2. They've done the Frozen shorts. They've done a bunch of other Frozen merchandise. With her, they would only want sequels. They wouldn't want new content. They wouldn't want new things. I'm pretty sure Lasseter had the balls to stand up to Iger and be like, we need to go around this, because Disney has stopped making, has basically stopped turning out movies, right? They basically kind of have they did Pirates of the Caribbean, but they haven't done much else in terms of just having a Disney film that's live action. And as a result, I think that's a lot to do with the way everything's going, and they just want sequels. I mean, was Cars 3 necessary? No, but Lasseter came up with Cars. 2006 came around, the movie grossed $1 billion in merchandise alone, so they kept the franchise going. And we have Cars 2. Thank you very much for that, I guess. But because that movie was bad. But that's the whole point. Is I think Pete Docter could stand up to Bob Iger and tell, sell him on stories that are original. And I don't think Jennifer Lee could. I just don't know. I could be wrong. But that's what I'm thinking right now, is that I think that's kind of where we are. So unfortunately, Lasseter is out, and who knows where he'll go. The current rumor that I've seen circulating around is whether or not he'll take over for Kathleen Kennedy if she steps down from Lucasfilm. Given the amount of people at Lucasfilm right now, especially in their Star Wars story group, that are definitely going to be hating this if it happens, the people that are more kind of left-leaning in that regard, they would have a field day with this. People would quit, and they'd walk away. Oh, maybe he should go there then. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it. You want to make Star Wars great again? Hashtag Maswa. You got to get Lasseter over to that. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I have a feeling the next creative element of it, someone's going to pick him up, but it probably won't be for about a year or so. Simply waiting for everything else to die down, and hopefully some sanity to return to Hollywood in one form or another.